All right, new tonight, the official theme of President Trump's address to Congress revealed as the renewal of the American dream.
That's right. This address is going to focus on 4 key points: his accomplishments thus far, and remember, it's been a short time, the economy, a renewed push for border security funding, and his global peace plans.
Now, the big question for a divided Democratic Party is to go or not to go. Big choice, folks, as they scramble to come up with a coherent counter message. The Resistance 2.0 wing of the party is very maturely urging their fellow Democrats to skip it entirely.
That State of the Union speech is going to be a farce. I think it's going to be a MAGA pep rally, not a serious talk to the nation, and I'm just not going to be a part of that.
What I believe we'll hear from the president is more anger, fear, misinformation, lies.
The former comm strategist in me says Democrats should collectively not attend, including Leader Jeffries. We'll see. I think the Democrats are going, and that's part of the dang on problem. Do not attend. Do not attend. Do not attend.
Wow, how brave. Do not attend. Don't do your job. In reality, the Democratic crybabies likely just don't want to face the shellacking Trump is about to deliver to their party, teasing in a Truth Social post, "Tomorrow night will be big. I will tell it like it is."
I can just hear his voice saying that, and he does tell it the way it is. Now, the other side of the party's plan for tomorrow, cooked up by leaders like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, is to parade around federal workers who lost their jobs as their guests in some weak attempt to rattle 47 during his speech, because that's possible. But for everyone's sake, please don't invite these guys.
Don't negotiate, oh, the climate don't negotiate, hurricanes don't negotiate, tornadoes don't negotiate, smoke don't negotiate.
All right, joining us now, Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin. Senator, thank you so much for being on the program tonight. Antics aside, the president has a strong message to deliver here, and he's talking about the American dream. This is what more than 75 million people voted for, was to see progress on the economy, progress on the border, progress on disastrous foreign policy that was handed to him by the previous administration. He has only been in office a very short time. He's made a lot of progress, so they can parade around anybody that they want. I imagine he's not going to be rattled, and he's going to stay on message.
Well, if they think they can rattle President Trump, they should have re-looked at what happened in Pennsylvania when he got shot in the ear and he stood up and said, "Fight, fight, fight." I mean, you can't rattle this guy. And for the fact that he's going to be able to take, I wouldn't say a victory lap yet, but be able to talk about the future of the country, he can take a victory lap on the border. We see the lowest boarding crossings that we've had in decades. By the way, keep in mind, Biden said he had done everything through executive order he could on the border, but yet he didn't take up Trump's policies, because obviously Trump policies actually is fixing the border. You can't talk about the economy, because the economy was absolutely in a mess. Inflation going through the roof, energy prices going through the roof. You've seen the president come out day one and declared energy as a national security issue, and he has done that. And we're seeing the energy sector revitalized. You're seeing the economy come back to life, and you're seeing world leaders stepping up and coming to actually meeting with the president, not just putting him on the back of the stage like they did with Biden, but actually come to the Oval Office and shake his hand and want to work together, because they understand America needs to lead, and that's what President Trump does. He leads from the front.
It truly is amazing what Donald Trump has been able to achieve in 5 weeks. I mean, compared to a sleepy Joe Biden, it's really quite stunning. But the president also, I think, has an opportunity to further explain tariffs. The market certainly didn't react well to that today. And it has a lot of questions. I think people are still confused about why, the need, and how they are going to work.
Well, Jason, you got to separate two sets of tariffs here. You got to separate what's happening in Canada and what's happening in Mexico. That is a response to what's going on their border. They're refusing to work with the United States. Keep in mind, the drugs and the trafficking that's coming in is going through their country before it gets to us. And we're saying, partner with us and help us stop before it comes into our cities and our towns and our states, or we're going to start putting economic strain on you. Now that you start talking about the other countries, let's use Europe, for example. Since World War II, we allowed Europe to take advantage of our economy to rebuild their country. Right now, their countries are rebuilt, and they continue to have the sweetheart deal that we gave them after World War II. And we're saying enough's enough. We're tired of shipping our dollars to you, and it's not coming back in repayment, and something you should be thankful for. So the president has put out on Truth Social that we're good with reciprocal tariffs. If you want to charge us nothing, we'll charge you nothing. If you want to charge us 36%, we'll charge you 36%. But that's on you. If you want to have access to the world's strongest and biggest economy, which is the United States, then we'll allow you to do that. But we're also wanting to come to your country and compete with the same products. There is nothing wrong with that. And that's the way it should work, because we are a generous country, but we don't want to be taken advantage of. That's why the president has said, make America great again, an America First agenda.
And let me ask you real quick, because when it comes to tariffs specifically and the economy, his policy is really very 360. So a lot of it depends on, even if these negotiations don't necessarily go his way, we'll have better trading terms with respect to not being taken advantage of. But those higher tariffs will be offset by other things like the extension of the Trump tax cuts and other economic policies that he's going to put in place to spur growth here, and ways that he plans on generating revenue for the government by cutting wasteful spending is one. But the tariffs also will generate some revenue. So you put all this picture together and you see that it's not just a straight tariff that's going to raise prices the way the left is trying to explain it to people, to the American people. But that brings me to my next question, which is, when will we see some of that policy go through Congress? We're looking at one big, beautiful bill. Is that something that is on the horizon, and will it be quickly?
Jackie, first of all, what you said is exactly spot on. Now, when you start talking about our plan moving forward, is it reconciliation? Is it budget? What we're calling is just the DOGE Act. That's the best thing to just describe what's happening here. The one big, beautiful DOGE Act, making sure we put America first, making sure we put the economy first, we make the cuts that we need to make. And I think we can do one big, beautiful, as the president now says, glamorous bill. The issue that we have is the House version doesn't make Trump's tax policies permanent. They extend it for 8 years. We want to make them permanent, because this, as a business owner myself, and as any other business out there will tell you, we need certainty in the taxes moving forward. We make 10-year and 20-year plans, not 4-year and 8-year plans. And so having certainty in taxes when we want to bring manufacturing back to the United States is vitally important. They need to know what their taxes are going to be today, plus 10 years from now, to have that accurate investment. And so that's the biggest difference between the bills right now, Jason and Jackie.
But Senator, I got to ask you, reconciliation's one thing, but Speaker Johnson said over the weekend he thought they were going to have to do a continuing resolution through the end of September. Is that going to fly in the Senate?
Well, now, two separate things here. We have to finish up what's happening with what the leftover from the Biden administration. The FY25, as you know, started October 1st. The Biden administration, underneath Chuck Schumer's role in the Senate, he never allowed one single appropriation bill to ever make it to the floor, even though we were ready with them and had them prepared before we went into August recess. So now our choice is, do we continue fighting over what the Biden administration left us, or do we cap it and just stop it? And I'm in that camp right now to just say, stop it. Let's just do a continued resolution so we can start working on the president's agenda. Why are we still fighting over Biden's leftover mess? Let's stop it. Let's move for FY26. Let's look into the DOGE Act and make sure we continue to move forward, get the economy back on track, cut the burdensome regulations, get rid of the waste and fraud and abuse throughout the government. And all that can happen when we move forward. But if we continue to fight on FY25, we're stuck in the past.
Okay, and just real quick before we let you go, right now this is happening. The Senate is voting to confirm Linda McMahon as Education Secretary. Obviously, a lot of problems with the Education Department, and President Trump has tasked her with essentially eliminating it and then eliminating her own job.
No, keep in mind, we in 1979 was #1 in education in the world. Today we're 34th. It's not working. Why would we continue down the same path of the Department of Education? The only people that would do that would love the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting different results. We need to make changes, and the Department of Education has failed our kids. And I have 6 kids, and all of them went to public schools.
Senator, we so appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
Thanks,
Senator
Senator.
Markwayne
Thanks for having me
Mullin.
on.